Hello everyone, this is Peppa Crochets. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I crochet these really plush and cozy leg warmers. These are perfect for the winter time, and I also think they would make a wonderful Christmas gift. As you can see in the previous clip, I also crocheted my dog a matching pair of leg warmers. I'm going to be having a video on those up as well. Look at the texture on these leg warmers. We're going to be using, I believe it's called an almond stitch for the body of the leg warmers, and then we're going to do a ribbing for the cuff. Look how cute these leg warmers are. You can make them any color, customize it to your liking. You can also make this your own and use a different type of stitch for the body of the leg warmers, so it's completely customizable and you can make it to your liking. We're also going to be adding a very cute little bow detail to the side, but you can use ribbon or lace as well. If you like my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I have many more videos on the way very soon, and I can't wait to share them with you all. Let's get started with this tutorial. You can grab any size hook or yarn for this tutorial since it will be measurement based. This is the yarn I'm going to be using. It's the Truboo bamboo yarn by Lion brand in the color white. And I'm going to be grabbing my 4.5mm hook. I chose a bigger hook because I wanted the body of the leg warmers to be more plush. Now we're going to loosely chain a chain that is a multiple of 8 plus 5. This is going to be the height of the leg warmer, so you can kind of measure it up against your leg and see how long you want the leg warmer to be. Don't forget that we're also going to be adding the ribbed cuff at the bottom and the top of the leg warmer, so you want to account for that when you do the starting chain. To begin the almond stitch, we're going to go into the second chain from the hook and begin with a slip stitch. So I'm going to go into that second chain from the hook and do a slip stitch. You're grabbing the yarn and pulling it all the way through, and we're going to do that for the next 3 stitches for a total of 4 slip stitches. Here are my 4 slip stitches, and now into the next 4 stitches we're going to be doing a half double crochet. You're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 3 loops on your hook for a half double crochet. Here's my second half double crochet, my third half double crochet, and here's my 4th and final half double crochet. Now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way down your chain. So you're going to do 4 slip stitches followed by 4 half double crochets. You should always end your row the way you began. So if we started with 4 slip stitches, we're going to end with 4 slip stitches at the end of our row. We're at the end here. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. For this next row, we're now going to be working into the back loops only. This is abbreviated with BLO, back loop only. For the remainder of this body panel for our leg warmers, we will always be working into the back loops only. So you're going to be doing 4 slip stitches like we did in the previous row. So since we begin with 4 slip stitches, you know that at the end of the row, we're going to be ending with 4 slip stitches. And here I am going into those back loops. Now that we have our 4 slip stitches, we're going to do our 4 half double crochets. Once again, all of this is going to be into the back loops only. From here, you're just going to keep repeating this pattern of 4 slip stitches and 4 half double crochets into the back loops, and you can see the design coming along. I like to do both loops into that very last stitch just so it has a nice even edge. And this is what it should start to look like. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And now the third row, or the next 2 rows, is going to be different. Since we started previously with 4 slip stitches, now we're just going to change it and start with 4 half double crochets. So you're going to start with 4 half double crochets, meaning you're going to end the row with 4 half double crochets. And in between, you're just alternating, doing 4 half double crochets and then 4 slip stitches. And you're going to do this for the next row as well. Don't forget that into that last stitch, we're going into both loops. And this is the pattern we're just going to keep repeating. So it's 2 rows of starting with 4 slip stitches. And then the next 2 rows, you're going to begin with 4 half double crochets. So you're basically alternating whether you start with a half double crochet row or whether you start with slip stitches. But 2 of the rows are going to be exactly the same. And it's going to give you that really nice almond-like texture. And you're going to continue this until it is the circumference, or you can wrap around the widest part of your calf. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. There's a very clear front and back side. So the front side is the almond texture side, and the back side is kind of this checkered texture. We will now be working on the ribbed cuff. I'm grabbing a 3.25mm hook, so smaller hook for this. And we're turning the work so that the almond stitch side is face down and that checkered side, or the inside part, it's facing up. And we're pulling a slip knot through that corner stitch, that left corner. Now I'm going to chain 1, turn my work so that the almond stitch is facing up, and I'm going to single crochet along the top edge of the leg warmer. You want to make sure that it's oriented correctly. So we're working again on that ribbed cuff at the top that's going to be above your calf area or below the knee. You're going to single crochet all the way along this edge, making sure that the stitches are fairly even. There's no clear stitch to go into, you're just kind of going along. Now for the ribbing, we're going to chain an even number of chains to your desired length. I did 20. I'm doing even numbers because for the lower cuff, I'm going to just divide this in 2. So since I did 20, the lower cuff is going to be a chain up of 10, but you can really make it as long as you'd like. We're going to also chain 1 extra for the turning chain. So here's my extra chain. Now we're going to turn our work to the side so we can start working along that chain. Into that second chain from the hook, we're going to do a single crochet, and we're just single crocheting all the way down this chain until we reach the base, which is going to be the top of the leg warmer. I made it back to the top of our leg warmer. Now we're going to slip stitch into the second stitch on the top of that leg warmer, and we're also going to be slip stitching into the next stitch. We're skipping that first stitch because that is actually connected to that cuff chain that we made. I also like to add a stitch marker into the very next stitch, so when I come back around, I know where to do my slip stitches. We're going to once again turn our work to the side because we're going to be working into that cuff row. Those 2 slip stitches will count as your turning chain. For the remainder of this cuff row, we're going to be working into the back loops only along this entire cuff row. So you're going to be going into the back loops and doing single crochet. You want to make sure that when you start to do the single crochets, you're not actually going into those slip stitches that we made along the top, but you're actually going into the stitches of this row. So if it helps you, you can count. So you should have 20 stitches or however many stitches or chains that you started with. At the end, we're going to chain 1 and then go back around and go down that cuff row again with the back loop only single crochets until we reach the base, where we'll be doing the slip stitches, which will count as our turning chain. That's where we had left the stitch marker. Here I'm just showing you that that very last stitch is the stitch before this little knot. You'll see a little knot there. That's the final stitch before we start to slip stitch into the top of the leg warmer. Once again, you can just count the stitches as well. Now I'm going to remove my stitch marker and do my first slip stitch. And then we're going to do 1 more slip stitch. So it's going to be 2 slip stitches along the top of our leg warmer. And I'm putting my stitch marker back into that very next stitch, just so I know where to slip stitch when I come back around. And you're just going to keep repeating this for the remainder of the cuff. So you're going into the back loops and doing single crochets. At the end, you're chaining 1, turning and doing those back loop single crochets back all the way down, and then 2 slip stitches at the base of the top of the leg warmer. And we're going to continue this until we reach the end. Once you've reached the end, this is what it should look like. So it's going to have this nice stretched ribbing along the entire top. To end the ribbed cuff row, we're just going to chain 1, cut, and pull the yarn through to secure it. Now we're going to work on that bottom cuff. So we're going to do the same thing again where we're turning the almond stitching face down. You're going to pull a slip knot through that left corner, chain 1, and then turn everything over so it's facing upright. And then we're going to single crochet along the entire top of this side. Once again, you just want to make sure that the stitches are nice and evenly spaced out. Once you reach the end, you can chain up half the amount that you did for the top row, or however many that you'd like to do. So I did 10 since it's half of the 20 I chained previously. And don't forget you're doing 1 extra chain, that will be the turning chain. And then we're just repeating all of the same steps like we did for that top cuff. So going into the back loops only after this row, and then doing 2 slip stitches at the base of the leg warmer, going back around, single crochet back loop only. You're going to do this all the way down until you reach the end, just like we did for the other side. Once you reach the end, you can go ahead and chain 1, cut, and pull the yarn through to secure it. And that will finish your bottom cuff. So this is what you should have so far. We have the top cuff, the body of the leg warmer, and the lower cuff. It's now time to seam up the side. We're going to place this inside out, so that checkered part is going to be facing you, and you're going to align the top edge. You're going to fold it lengthwise. You're going to place your hook in that corner stitch, making sure to go through both panels and pull a slip knot through. For seaming, I decided to use a 3.75mm hook. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to start single crocheting all the way down the entire seam of this leg warmer, and this will close it up. You're going to make sure that you put your hook through both stitches on both sides of the leg warmer, and then do a single crochet and work all the way down. You can use stitch markers along the edges just to make sure everything is lined up and that it is going to be even and nicely seamed. You're just going to continue seaming until you reach all the way at the end, where you can chain up 1, cut, and pull the yarn through to secure. Once you've finished seaming things up, you can turn it right side out again, and this is what the leg warmers should look like. Now you're going to weave in all of those loose ends, and your leg warmers are essentially done. This step is completely optional, but I'm going to be making a little bow to add to the side of my leg warmers. It's the same yarn, but in the color Sky. It's a really nice grayish blue color. I'm going to be grabbing my 4mm hook, and we're going to be making I-cord stitches. So you're going to start off with a chain up of 3. You're going to place your hook back into that second chain and pull up a loop, and then place your hook into that third chain and pull up another loop. You now have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to pull up, so you're going to pull up slightly, and then you're going to remove your hook from those 2 loops that you just made and hold it down with your thumb like so. Make sure it doesn't slip out from under you. Now you're going to yarn over and pull up a loop. Place your hook back into that second loop that we dropped right there, and pull up a loop, and then hook back into that third loop and pull up a loop. Once again, you're going to pull up so it's not too tight, and then remove your hook from those 2 loops again, hold it with your thumb, and repeat the pattern. Yarn over, pull up a loop, put your hook back into the second loop and pull up a loop, and put your hook back into the third loop and pull up another loop, and then pull everything up so it's not too tight. This is how you do the I-cord stitch. It takes a little bit of practice to get a hang of how to hold those loops down with your thumb so they don't kind of escape. But once you get the hang of it, it's very easy, and this is a very sturdy cord. I like to use this for bag handles, for belts, and also for straps. Once you've reached your desired length, you're going to end by slip stitching through all the loops on your hook, and then you're going to do 1 extra chain, cut the yarn, and pull it through to secure it. Now you're just going to weave in those loose ends, and then I also like to knot the ends as well. Now for the bow portion, you can either make it into a bow and sew it onto the side of the leg warmers, or do what I did. I just kind of pulled this cord through the gaps in the stitches at the top side of the leg warmer and then tied it into a bow shape. Okay guys, and we're done with our leg warmers. The almond stitching is actually very stretchy, which is perfect for this type of project. And then the cuffs are also very stretchy yet sturdy. So as you can see, it's very secure on my leg while not being overly tight. The cuffs actually were perfect and the leg warmers didn't slide down and they stayed in place. I love how these leg warmers look. It's very nostalgic. I used to wear leg warmers all the time when I was younger. I think it complements the winter outfit so well, especially if you're wearing tights with some heels or boots, or if you're wearing some leggings. Look how cute these are. You can also use lace for the ribbons or actual ribbons. You can really customize this to your liking as well by using a different type of stitch for the body of the leg warmer. I'm going to have a tutorial out for how I did the leg warmers for my dog. I actually used an alpine stitch for her leg warmers, but you can definitely take that stitch, the alpine stitch, and use it for an adult-sized leg warmer. I think it would be really nice as well. I love the way these look with my Doc Marten heels. I think it adds a nice contrast with an all-black outfit. And since the bow is just tied on, I can make different colors or use ribbon to change up the look as well. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll also have the mini leg warmers tutorial out very soon, so stay tuned. As always, thank you for your support and I'll see you in the next video. Bye everyone!